Hey, welcome to another episode of Talking Tech with the Techie Guy, and today we're looking at the LG G4 phone. Now, this phone is really hot, and the one feature that I'd really like to focus on is the camera. Those of you who are into your Instagram, your social media sharing, etc., will really get a kick out of this camera. What they've done is absolutely fantastic. So let's check it out. So the camera is where this phone really excels. With a 16 megapixel rear shooter, it really gives you some nice ability and nice control over your images. Now, most people are familiar with a simple mode where you go into your camera, you press the button, press the screen, and it will snap your shots. Now, you can go into the auto mode, which is pretty much does everything for you. But what you can do is you can set your depth of field. In other words, you can choose where you want your focus to be, either in the rear or in the front, and then you snap your photo, and it takes your shot. Now, what LG has done is given you a manual mode, and with the manual mode, you've got so much more control of your images. You've got the ability to change your white balance, your focus, ISO, your shutter speeds. You can really kind of change and control the effect of a photo. So in this particular case, what I'd like to do is I'd like to get both the pen and the kind of ink thing in focus. So go into manual mode, and I have an ability to play, if I can see that, and I can choose. I can get to a point where they're both nicely aligned. I don't know if it translates well into the camera, but you can see, you can really kind of get these situations in a better focus. In this particular case, I just want to play with the light as well. I'm trying to kind of change that. Ooh, too much exposure. Now, when I do these kind of things, I really get an ability to kind of control my subject, control my photo, and get a different shot altogether. So if we compare that shot to another shot, you can see that from just a coloring point of view, the automatic one obviously will do the best job that it can, but when I choose into manual, I can control it. I can give it a darker shade, I can get my focus better range. So it really is quite cool that LG has allowed you to do that. Now, when we go back into your camera, another thing to notice is that you've got the ability to shoot in JPEG or in JPEG and RAW. What that effectively means is that if you're a photographer that likes to edit in some of your desktop applications, you can take the RAW image, which is quite a large file, but it's got all the information that the picture needs, take it across to your desktop and be able to carry on and manipulate the images. Get nice and clear. It will keep all the resolution, keep all the information that you need without distorting the original image. Because it is a large file, you've got to be assured that you've got enough space, obviously, on your phone, but if not, just bash it out into the cloud and keep information there and dump it onto your PC when you get to a certain location. But it does give you that ability, so you quickly be able to swap between JPEG and RAW. Other options to kind of have a quick note is you've got this is like kind of on your viewfinder, you've got this leveler, so it kind of tells you if I'm holding the camera nice and levels. You can actually change that. You can turn it off. You can put into your grid format where you can use kind of your rules of three. You can obviously go back to that, and then you can put your histogram on and off as well. It's nice that LG has given us the ability to control with such a great camera, and especially under low lighting condition, be able to really go into that manual mode and be able to play with your ISOs, play with your white balance, and really capture that shot, which usually will simply just be lost. So a great to be able to have that on hand, on tap, push a button, and out it goes. Now, besides the camera, obviously we have the phone itself. Now, this phone is really great, performs really nicely under kind of some serious conditions. Battery life, 3000 milliamp battery. I've managed to get kind of a good solid day, even testing it quite hard with all the various applications and social media and speed tests and downloading, and it really performs quite nicely. You manage to get a good day's usage out of that. I don't know if it's the way that it charges, but it just seems to charge quite quickly as well. It could just be me looking for stuff, but when you stick it into the charger, I find that the battery kind of charges itself really nicely, really quickly. The nice thing is with the camera, with the phone, it is a removable battery as well, and you can get a micro SD card that goes up to 2 terabytes. Yes, 2 terabytes of storage, even though there aren't 2 terabytes micro SD card, and if they are, they'll be going to be ridiculously expensive. But the 2 terabyte facility is available. It has been tested up to 2 terabytes, and apparently we should be getting 1 terabyte sometimes within the next kind of year or so. I'm not sure what the price will be, but the phone can actually handle it. So you know that you know sticking in a 64 gig card will handle it with absolutely no worries whatsoever. The thing to notice as well is that obviously it's got a slight curve, so LG is sticking to that. What it does mean is that even if I wouldn't recommend it, but if you happen to drop your phone front down, it has got a little bit of flexibility, and the screen itself isn't in contact with the surface straight away. Again, I definitely would still stick a cover on it, but it just gives you that little bit of extra peace of mind to know that your phone is got some nice protection. Whilst we're facing the back, this has got the traditional LG buttons, which are kind of right at the back. As you're holding your phone, your finger naturally goes up, so it's got your volume up, volume down, power, sensors, etc. No buttons on the side whatsoever, or on the top or on the bottom, so everything is kind of neatly wrapped up where it's supposed to be. And you know, if you haven't used an LG phone before, you'll be struggling at the beginning to start looking for buttons to push. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but it absolutely shouldn't discourage you from giving this thing a bash. And once you've used it, it just becomes natural. So we tend to shy away from new things. Just give it a bash. What is quite cool is that it exactly lines up. It lines up where your fingers just happen to be. Even if you're left-handed or right-handed, your fingers just naturally get there. And somehow they've managed to keep the camera nice and flush with this as well. So even when you're keeping the phone on a table, you're not really scratching anything. You know, again, everything is got this little protective ring around that. So overall, first impressions of the G4, I think it will do really nicely. I think it's going to be available mid-June in South Africa, if my information is correct. I think it's going to have a great market, great appeal. It's building on the legacy of the G3, the Flex 2. I've reviewed a bunch of these phones in the past, and I've actually never been disappointed with one of these phones. The biggest thing for me is that I type and have the phone on the table, and some of these phones tend to spin quite badly because of the curved back. This particular one actually doesn't spin so badly at all, so that's quite a big thumbs up for me. Just to note that this particular review unit isn't the official one that's going to be launched, so I don't have the sexy back cover. That's the leather cover. I'm really looking forward to checking that out when it comes out. And I think with a leather cover, you're even going to get even more kind of a grip to then on the table. So overall, first impressions, I think the LG phone is going to do really nicely. The fact that the battery life is really good, it charges nice and quick, and that camera really makes the world of a difference, especially for us who do a lot of photography on the road, a lot of video on the road. You want a good camera at the touch of a button, be able to snap and not miss an image. And they say the best camera is the one that you happen to have with you. Well, if you have this camera, you've got the best camera with you at all times. So well done, LG.